How far would you go to get your answers?
For me, the best thing about the Kermode Uncut blog is the enthusiasm and intelligence of your replies. But every now and then, I pick up a subject which you are really fired up about. Now, just last week, I asked whether, with the DVD and Blu-ray release of Prometheus, it was time to reassess the film. When it came out, so many of you said how crushingly disappointed you were, and I suggested that that crushing disappointment was partly a result of the huge amount of hype that had attended the cinema release of the film. And I said, well, now it's out on DVD, Blu-ray, perhaps it's possible to go back and look at it. Are you still disappointed with Prometheus? Well, loads of you have answered, and I have to be honest, loads of you have said, yeah, we're still just as disappointed as before. Here are just a few examples. This from Daft Punk. I didn't catch Prometheus at the cinema, so the DVD was my first experience. I can safely say that people's disappointment in the film had nothing to do with the pre-release hype, nothing, and everything to do with the fact that it's a rubbish film with an absolute stinker of a script. This similarly from Mad Girl Ipswich. With Prometheus, I was not expecting much from a new Ridley Scott film, and I successfully avoided all the clips and the trailers, so my disappointment in the film was not a result of the overhyping. The film was disappointing because the plot made absolutely zero sense. The script was appalling, people constantly explaining the meaning of life to each other. I will not be buying the DVD or Blu-ray, as this film will enter the pantheon, along with Matrix 2 and 3 and Terminator Salvation, of films that cease to exist in my mind so as not to damage my opinion of the originals. This from GR Newbie. I hated it when I saw it in the cinema, and I've recently seen it again on Blu-ray, and if anything, I dislike it even more. How a director of Scott's caliber gave that script the green light is beyond me. The film is a complete mess, incoherent and stupid in equal measures. Nothing makes sense. I love Scott's films mostly, but he has lost the plot literally with this film. And then finally, on this negative thread, this from Maya 7. I think when a film comes out on DVD with an alternate ending and an alternate beginning, you know that watching it again is not going to change your mind about how awful it is. I was dragged by my boyfriend to go and see this, and I really did not like it. So many plot holes, so many ridiculous moments. I even remember turning to my boyfriend at one point and saying, why the hell are they running in the path of the spaceship which is about to crush them instead of sideways? But it's not all bad news. I mean, I still like Prometheus very much, and some of you, fewer than didn't like it, agree. This, for example, from Edward Young, writing from across the channel. Alien is my favourite movie, and Prometheus is a sort of coup de coeur. Yes, I'm French. The first time I saw it, I immediately loved it, but at the same time I was disappointed because it was overhyped and because of how good Alien was. The second viewing was better. I had a better understanding of the story and I enjoyed it better. I got so mad when people started saying how bad it is simply because they didn't understand the story well. When Alien came out in 1979, it received negative reviews. It was the what that annoyed people, and now it's a masterpiece. Prometheus is kind of the same thing with the why, but in time it will have the recognition it deserves. Instantly, sorry for the bad English. Frankly, Edward, your English is better than mine. And this, similarly, from Mr. Moneypenny, on a Bond theme. I don't think I've ever been so surprised by an audience's reaction to a film. I thought the film was spectacular the first time and many viewings later. Much more original, insightful, thought-provoking and exciting than the Oscar-nominated Avatar, and I'm absolutely on the page with you on that. The flaws that people dwell on seem quite trivial and insignificant. Almost everyone I know enjoyed the film immensely, so maybe the critical types are just more vocal. Because the really interesting thing is that my original question was, have you reassessed Prometheus in the wake of the 7 hours of extras that have come out on the 3D Blu-ray? Many of you addressed this directly and with very interesting results. This from Chrissy Doe. I was one of the many people who bought into the hype, and I can't remember a movie making me that angry before. I knew there was a good movie in there somewhere, but it had been severely cut by the studio. After watching the DVD, I still feel the same way, and after watching all the deleted scenes, I feel justified in my initial reaction. There are so many moments in the deleted scenes which make much more sense to the overall arc of the story and the characters. Furthermore, the action sequences are more dramatic. What Prometheus is crying out for is Ridley Scott's director's/extended edition. Only when all the deleted scenes are replaced and we can see the whole story and the various depths of the actors' characterizations will I say Prometheus is a good movie. And this was a theme that turned up again and again, that having seen all that extra material, your question was, why wasn't it in the film? This, for example, from Beware the Moon. Why no director's cut, extended cut, with the alternate beginning and ending, with the character exposition thrown in? I'm waiting for a fan edit to emerge. Remember when Phantom Menace came out with the fan edit that solved so many of the problems, including taking out most of Jar Jar Binks? Otherwise, I'll try to do one myself so I can compare the two versions. I suspect Scott will finally bow to pressure and give us an extended cut in the future, much like he did with Kingdom of Heaven, which was vastly improved. It's gone from being a so-so movie to a personal favourite. And this from Nathan Baisley. My wife and I have a small baby, so we had kind of had one cinema pass in the sense of babysitting facility. So when the Prometheus reviews came out, we decided to go and see Dark Knight instead. Dark Knight pretty much universally liked. Prometheus. I finally saw Prometheus a few months ago on-demand facilities in a hotel room in Louisiana. Not ideal, I have to say. After all the positive hype followed by the negative hype, my expectations were well settled and I thought it was okay. We bought the 3D Blu-ray. For the extras, of course, we don't have a 3D TV or would watch in 3D even if we had one. Many people have said this. We all know the reason all those extras are on the 3D Blu-ray is not so people can watch it in 3D, just to boost the 3D sales. That's a side point. On second viewing, I kind of felt the same. Then, when I started watching the special features, I totally fell in love with it. I think it comes back again to the world and the ideas, not the execution. In fact, so many of the deleted scenes help answer the questions. It seemed like a shame that so much went. And this was the defining comment of your responses. All the reservations that you had about Prometheus are pretty much still there. People that still like it. But all of you who've seen the outtake material, seen the alternative beginning, the alternative ending, your feeling is, yeah, why wasn't that in the film? So, how long will it be before Ridley Scott puts it there?